Senators, take your seats. I did not mean to turn it on and cough. I apologize. I meant to turn it on and get your attention. All right, I've got the go-ahead. So I hereby call to order the third meeting of the 62nd session of Student Senate at 7:02 p.m. Before we get started, we do have an individual who was not sworn in, so we're going to have to do that before we can roll into the meeting as a whole. So, Senator Cunningham, if you would approach the podium, please. All right, so we're going to run through this and then do the freshman. So when we get to the position, you're just going to say freshman. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I hereby swear
I hereby swear
that I will faithfully serve
that I will faithfully serve
the students of Wichita State University,
the students of Wichita State University,
act in accordance with
act in accordance with
the Student Government Association Constitution,
the Student Government Association Constitution,
and fulfill all duties
and fulfill all duties
and responsibilities required of the office of
freshman senator, required of the office of freshman senator.
I will,
To
the best of my ability,
the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the Student Government
the Constitution of the Student Government
Association of Wichita State University.
Association of Wichita State University.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You may. With that, we can officially take roll call. When I call your name, please answer with either here or present. Senator Azidlani.
Here.
Senator Babin.
Present.
Senator Bradley.
Here.
Senator Brown.
Present.
Senator Castillo.
Present.
Senator Coates. Senator Cowden.
Here.
Senator Cunningham.
Here.
Senator Day.
Here.
Senator Flores.
Here.
Senator Gibson.
Here.
Senator Giunta. Wrong button. Senator Hopper.
Here.
Senator Kata.
Present.
Senator Kahindi is absent. Senator Kendrick.
Here.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Mai.
Here.
Senator Martin.
Here.
Senator Mattson.
Present.
Senator Miller.
Present.
Senator Morgan. Senator Mounts.
Present.
Senator Navarro. Senator Peter.
Here.
Senator Peterson.
Present.
Senator Reed. Present. Senator Ritchie.
Present.
Senator Sanchez.
Here.
Senator Spencer.
Present.
Senator Tehran.
Here.
Senator Tubak.
Present.
Senator Tucker.
Present.
Senator Webb.
Present.
Senator Wright.
Present.
Senator Zacharias.
Here.
We have made quorum tonight with 32 total in attendance. That means simple majority of 17, 2/3, 22, and 2/3 majority 24. With that, we'll move into Section 3, approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections to last week's minutes, which are on Shocker Sync? I realize I didn't send them out in my normal email. So if you don't have any now and review it later, please get with me and we'll make that correction. Are there any corrections to be noted at this time? Seeing none, we will move into Section 4, Public Forum. As a reminder, Public Forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate. This is a time for the association to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speakers do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the association or the university. Lastly, in the essence of time, we do limit speeches in public forum to a length of 3 minutes unless the speaker has spoken to us about it ahead of time. That being said, is there anyone who would like to speak in public forum tonight? Seeing none, we'll move into Section 5, Officer Reports. Item A, President's Report.
Hi, everyone. So first, just before I really get into my report, I just wanted to, apologize mostly for my behavior on Saturday at the retreat. It's been a stressful couple of weeks, and I'm sorry if you felt I was taking that out on you. I promise you I was not trying to. That was not my intent. I'm still learning what this position means. I went from the most non-political position to the most political position, so I have a huge learning curve, and I would just appreciate it if you would just bear with me, and I'm trying to learn it as fast as I possibly can. And please remember that my door is always open as well. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm here for you. I always will be. So, yeah. With that, so interviews and appointments, Vice President Michael Berth, and I have had 13 within the past week. And we also have 4 tomorrow. However, Vice President Berth will be conducting all 4 of those tomorrow, as I will be out of the office for a grad school visit. So he will be doing those appointments and all of those as well. Search committee is starting back up, the presidential search committee. I'm going to be very busy with that. I have a total of 4 days that will be fully dedicated to only the search committee, and then a half day coming up here soon as well. Please remember that everything in regards to the search committee is confidential, so I am not able to answer any questions that you have. So if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to Steve Clark, who is the chair of the committee. So then, goals. I know I kind of went over that during the retreat on Saturday. However, they are listed out on Trello, and I have started to pinpoint some details as to how those will be accomplished. I haven't quite figured out if there's a shorter link that I can use to send out to all of you. If there is, I'm trying to figure it out still, but a link will be sent out to you via email and Facebook. That way you can view those. And I also encourage all of you to create a Trello as well. It's just a really great way to ensure that you're keeping up with your goals, ensuring that they're getting done. So I recommend you do that with your fellow senators. And if you do, please share it with Cabinet. I would love to see those. So then university committees and Supreme Court, and then the Government Relations Committee. Those applications are still open. We still need people to apply, especially for academic appeals, parking, and then 2 Supreme Court student positions are open, and as of right now, they are not meeting quorum, so those 2 positions are very important to fill as soon as possible. And then government relations, we're hoping to get about 5 people, 5 to 8 people. This is the first time this committee has ever been done here, so just trying to get those seats filled as well. That way that committee can start its work also. So if you know of anybody who would be great in these positions, please encourage them to apply. And if it's a university committee that you're interested, please apply as well. Also with committees, I got an email from Provost Muma about a new IT committee. They're really just looking at transforming IT within campus. I will get you more details. I'm not entirely sure what the committee is exactly set out to do. However, they are looking for at least 1 student, preferably 2, with either interest or experience with IT, and they will be meeting about every 2 weeks starting off, and tentatively are scheduled to start on September 24th. So if you're interested in that, please contact me and I can get you more information. And I do believe our university committee application should be updated, so that one should be on there. And if it's not, let me know. We'll figure it out. But it is that application that we'll use for that. So that's all I have.
Are there any questions for the president? Senator Mounts.
So I am actually in contact with Lake Bradley, who was one of the people who applied to the Supreme Court, and she was actually wondering why she was denied because it was not explained very well in the email that was sent to her for her denial.
That question would not be in order, as it is not germane to the president's report. Are there any other questions for the president? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move into item B, the Vice President's report. As not to double dip, I'll just stick to a couple of the 3 items that I have for tonight. With that, I did start the process of reviewing, the special committee on membership, which you all will be voting on tonight. So I've got everything pretty much set that if you all vote in favor, we can start rolling almost immediately. We just got to reach out to individuals and see whether they want to be on the committee or not. But the groundwork for how the committee will operate and what they will look at is all set in stone. So it's really all on you guys now. With that, there is a project that I'll be looking into, and it's actually one that carried over from the last session. That is the community garden project that we did towards the, I believe, the end of last session. So I've heard mixed reports of where it's at, and so I'll be looking into exactly what's going on, what stage of the process it is, whether it has been approved, denied, delayed, on schedule, those sorts of things. My last bit is more of a general announcement, and that is, so last spring, a group of faculty were drafting sustainability plan for WSU, and then again in July was when they pretty much finalized it, but they are now looking for a group of students to help find places to engage on campus around sustainability so that they can brainstorm how students want to advance several specific sustainability initiatives for the year. And those could be anything from increasing recycling, either here in the RSC or around campus in general, composting, all kinds of things like that. I do have a doodle poll link that I can send out to anybody that is interested, but it is not strictly reserved for senators. So if you know of anybody that is interested in a sustainability field type or green energy, things like that, please encourage them to apply. I will make the doodle poll available in the group. Are there any questions for my report? Seeing none, we'll move into item C, Treasurer's Report.
Good morning. Good evening, everyone. This week I've been working on understanding more of the data behind the 2020 student fees budget, and also considering how we ask departments to report this and whether or not our questions are fair and appropriate. Mrs. K-Mock Morgan spoke today about transparency, and a lot of this week has been sort of fleshing out my goal for financial transparency for the organization, and thinking about how we fit into our university strategic plan when it comes to financial transparency. And part of the definition that we've come up with this week is that for us to be financially transparent, the Senate has to understand what they're looking at. So we can give you everything, but if you don't understand what it means, it doesn't do you any good. So that's sort of been my goal for this week, and working on how I can actually implement that. So, yep, I think that's most of everything. But
Are there any questions for the treasurer? Seeing none, you may be seated. We'll move into item 6, other reports. Item A, Chief of Operations report.
Hey guys. So basically my main one, I know President Miller kind of hit on it as well, but the Government Relations Committee is something that I've been really working on to kind of get that foundation laid. You guys can find those applications at our website. In committees, the Government Relations Committee, there's an application for that. I know we've had one applicant so far, but like I said, and like President Miller said, I'm trying to get minimum to 5 to 8 people to kind of start at that foundation. It's new, so kind of the mission statement for it is regarding problems with higher education, so getting people who are really passionate about those problems. People who can represent those as well. Along with that, kind of getting involved with the Wichita community as well, kind of having them see us as a resource for them as well. So that was kind of my main hit for that as well, because I would like them to help me with national registration coming up, voter registration coming up. So that's it for mine.
Any questions for the Chief of Operations? Seeing none, we'll move into item B, Director of Public Relations.
Good evening, you guys. So as you all know, Monday was our open house, and it turned out really well. I thought it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people actually today while we were tabling were like, hey, I saw this poster. I had heard about this event, so it got our name out there a little bit more. Additionally, we tabled today at the Involvement Fair, and so that was really great. Vice President Michael Berth and Senator Zacharias came out and helped me out a lot in getting our name out there, and so that was nice. Additionally, I have posted on the Facebook a list of September events, so if you guys are interested or would like to help out or get your senator hours in, there is a sign-up sheet for that. It is the exact same format as I did it in August. If you are not on the Facebook page, or you just don't prefer to use the Facebook page, you could reach out to me and I will send it to you directly. Additionally, I've been helping Kylie with the National Voter Registration Day marketing and just some other marketing materials as well. So if you guys have questions.
Are there any questions? Senator Webb.
Do you have an estimate of how many people came to the open house?
Yeah, so I don't know total how many people. I do know that 13 students signed up to win the free t-shirt. So that was a pretty good number. I would guess roughly 20-25 students, and then we had a good amount of senators show up as well, which was really nice because it felt like bonding, I guess. It was a fun event.
Are there any other questions for the Director of Public Relations? Seeing none, thank you. We'll move into item C, Student Advocates Report.
Now I'm on. Okay, cool. I talk loud enough that I probably don't even need this thing. Anyways, if you're my friend on Facebook, then you probably just received an invite to like, share, or mark that you're attending the Sweet Meet with the Student Advocate event. I post also the pictures that if you could share them in our 60-second session Facebook page. So there's all the pictures on there if you'd like to share it on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use, or in like your group chats for other orgs. What else was I going to say about that? But yeah, the event is actually live, so then if you could share the event itself, that helps. Besides that, at the Senate retreat on the one sheet was the volunteering time on Tuesday, September 3rd. At 7 p.m. And so I would just like to see, I didn't bring my notes, so I'm going to run a poll on Facebook later to see who would be able to come to volunteer for that event. So the September 3rd, Tuesday night at 7 p.m., just like keep that date in your mind. And then Wednesday, the following day, September 4th, is the actual event from 11 to 1 where your attendance would be appreciated as well. So keep those dates in mind, and then I'll post on Facebook to get kind of like a head count of who would be there. Besides that, just for my individual report, a lot of the cases that I'm working right now are academic appeals, and so that's kind of raised a concern for me as student advocate to see what we could start doing to improve that process. So I'm looking at creating some sort of additional template or process steps that would help students know what would make their academic appeal stronger, I guess. And so if you would like to be in the works and how to improve that process, then let me know if you're interested and we can start working on that together. Besides that, the next big thing that I want to inform you all about would be this Friday I will be meeting with Dr. Radigan as well as David Moses, who was general counsel that spoke on Saturday as well, where we will be starting the pilot for our new legal services program. So they've had legal services through SGA the past couple years, but that had a low number of attendance and wasn't really being utilized properly. So what I reached out to Dr. Radigan and David for was that I don't really know how long ago, but they had an actual program that was a year-long partnership with outside attorneys that basically any time of the year a student could reach out and use an attorney either pro bono or at low cost. So we're looking at bringing that back rather than doing a event in the middle of November where we have a couple days where a lawyer's here and they can come see them, because the reality is you don't know when you're going to need a lawyer. It just happens. So we're looking at doing something sustainable that is year-round. So I will update you all next Wednesday with how that meeting goes. And then The last thing is, I think we are also working out to see if there's next Wednesday before the meeting that we were going to do another small training for some of the stuff that I learned over the summer that I want to share with you as well. So keep an eye out for that. That's my report.
Are there any questions for the student advocate? Senator Zacharias, we'll saw you first.
While I was tabling today, there were a lot of questions and concerns about the food for fines. How many of those events are we planning on having this semester? Are we going to have 2 like normal, or?
Yeah. So we're going to do it the same as we've done before. We're just not releasing the dates for those because, don't like to say this, but if you know the dates when you could get your fines waived, then that kind of makes it more likely that you're going to not care if you get a citation, I guess. So we're not going to release those dates until later on in the semester, just so that everyone knows I'm not like hiding those or whatever on purpose. It's just so that it's used how it should be. Yeah. But yes.
Sorry. Were you done? Any other questions? I am forgetting your name.
Babin.
Senator Babin.
So you, sorry, you just mentioned the trainings that you were planning on doing. Are those going to count for like the senator trainings that we're supposed to do or anything like that, or are they outside?
They will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Senator Sanchez.
Okay, so bringing back the topic of parking, just because when I've been speaking to my constituents, a lot of concerns about parking. Is there any type of initiatives that we can talk about, or just how do we address the concerns about the first 2 weeks of parking and additional parking lots and things like that?
Yes. So I didn't say originally what was going to be included in the training, but in the training next week, I will also have a section that talks about what you can relay to students, because basically that would be a question for either the Senate or President Miller, because technically I can't speak to that. I can just speak to how we can help students currently. So what we'll be doing in training next week would be how to advise students to do a proper parking appeal and how to be successful in that appeal. The changes on campus in regards to parking would be more of a Senate / also one of the executive goals.
Are there any other questions for the student advocate? Seeing none, thank you.
Cool. Oh, side note, I also brought some of these handbills if you'd like to pick them up at the front of the...
With that, we're going to move into Section 7, Appointments. Item A, the Chief of Operations shall read.
SB-62-027, appointing Senate Standing Committee members. Action 1, appoint members of the Safety and Student Services Committee. I hereby nominate Vanessa Tarrin, Lauren Peterson, Anna Grace Martin, Thane Reed, and Sahidi Kata to the positions of Safety and Student Services Committee member. Action 2, appoint members of the Budget and Finance Committee. I hereby nominate Matthew Tucker to the position of Budget and Finance Committee member. Action 3, appoint members of the Diversity Task Force Committee. I hereby nominate Mackenzie Gibson, Ivan Castillo, Marie Flores, Rachel Spencer, Victoria Cahind, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Evelyn Peter, Anya Kendrick, and Cameron Morgan to the positions of Diversity Task Force Committee member. Action 4, appoint members of the Academics Committee. I hereby nominate Alyssa Bradley, Vanessa Cowden, Marissa Cunningham, Michael Brown, and Michael Gunta to the positions of Academics Committee member. Action 5, appoint members to the Shocker Support Locker Committee. I hereby nominate Jonathan Miller to the positions to the position of Shocker Support Locker Committee member.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill? Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This nomination is amazing. I would love to be on the Diversity Task Force Commission, but what if I'm also interested in budget and finance? How do I go about that?
So you may only choose one.
Yeah, I didn't choose this one. It sounds like I was nominated for this one.
So when we get to the debate, you're welcome to make an amendment to move your name into the appropriate
Okay, so
slot.
an amendment to move my name.
That's
Sounds
where
good.
you'd like, and it is, which section would you like? Budget and finance. We'll make that correction for you. Senator Ritchie.
When we open it for debate, is that where I would ask my name to be put on the bill? Because I'm
Yes.
currently, okay.
Senator Khan.
So just a question really fast. So for diversity and task force, what was the last name you said after Anya Kendrick? Was there another one?
Cameron Morgan.
All right. It's not on the bill that we received. So
Right, that was an
updated?
update from him himself before it got here, and I forgot to send the update to you. So my apologies
All right.
on that one. But that was before this meeting. He had contacted me and requested a different one.
So, question of privilege, can we get the actual working bill that you guys have on the screen?
Yes, we can do that. The reason I had changed it is just because of technical difficulties last time and just in sake of time, but I can do that for you guys if you guys would prefer that.
Are there any other questions while we're waiting? Now that it's up for any to see, are there any questions on what is now up here? Senator Babin.
So is this different than the one that we did at the last meeting?
So the one we did last meeting appointed a few individuals. These are individuals who had not been appointed or had requested additional or a changed committee.
And, okay, and did we approve the last one? Because I thought that was moved to, that was the first read and then we approve it today. Is that
Yes,
correct?
the last one has no effect on this one.
Okay, just making
It's
sure.
a completely different set of individuals.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions, Senator Miller?
Yeah, my name's spelled wrong. There's no
No H, right?
Yeah.
I got
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move into debate on this item. Is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Ritchie.
I move to add my name to section 2.
Future reference, that would be a motion to amend
Oh, motion
a
to
certain
amend.
section to
Right,
add your
right,
name.
right.
Well, that was section 2, budget and finance, correct?
Correct.
Being so motioned, it will require a second. Senator Mounts seconds. Yes, Senator right.
So unlike most of the other committees, the Budget and Finance Committee has a limited number of people that are allowed to be on it. So I'm just wondering how close we are to getting to that.
You are at the max with Senator Ritchie's addition.
Okay, thank you.
Going to make sure that we spelled your name correctly before we move on to the vote on this amendment.
Michael. I think Senator Kendrick wanted to be on Budget and Finance first.
That's true.
So you need to do that amendment first. And if that passes, Budget and Finance is full.
You are correct.
So you need to vote on Senator Kendrick's amendment first, since she made it first.
Thank you, Gabe. Switching gears to a previously mentioned motion. With that, is there anyone wishing to do, well, I don't think this motion is debatable, is it? I didn't think so. So, did you get her name? Spelled your name correctly, correct?
Point of order. Motions to amend are debatable.
Don't interrupt. They require a second. They do debate, and they can be amended. You are correct. Take that, Gabe. Anyway, with that, we'll move into the debate period. Is there anyone wishing to debate on this motion at this time? And to be clear, the motion is to add, I forget how to say your first name. Is it Anya? Anya Kenrick to Budget and Finance. Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, raise your hand. Not going to vote for yourself. All right. All opposed? Thank you. With a vote of 31 in favor, 1 abstention, motion carries. Moving back to the main item, which is the bill itself, Senator Ritchie.
Point of information, which of the committees have open and available seats?
All the rest of them.
I motion to add myself to item 4, members of Academics Committee.
Being motioned, it will require a second. Senator Khan with the second. Sorry, Walter. Moving into the debate, is there anyone wishing to debate on this motion to add Senator Ritchie to Academics Committee? Senator Ritchie, it is your motion. You do have the privilege to speak first.
Motion to amend the spelling of my last name to EY.
No motion necessary. It's grammatical. With that, seeing no debate on this item, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, raise your hand.
Motion to pass by unanimous consent.
Technically, we just moved into the voting period, and you can't do that anymore. But I will allow it this time. Be more punctual with your motions. Does require a second. Or no. For unanimous consent. Does anybody object? Motion carries.
Point of information, when making the motion for unanimous consensus, does that need to be done during debating period or as we go into voting period?
All motions are done during the debate period. Moving back to the main item, is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? I saw a hand, but I forget who it was. Senator Zacharias?
Motion to pass with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-027 passes with unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item B. Chief of Operations shall read.
SB-62-028, appointing university committee members, authored by Katrina Miller, student body president. Action 1, appoint members of the Academic Appeals Committee. I hereby nominate Lucas Webb to the position of Academic Appeals Committee members.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
So Lucas has been an essential team player within SGA for as long as I have known him and gives 110% to whatever he's doing. Lucas would serve as a wonderful advocate for students in regards to academic appeals cases. Sorry, we all know him. I didn't really feel like I had to give too much of an explanation, but I'm open for questions.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, does the nominee wish to speak to this bill?
No.
Second one.
Action 2, appoint members of the RSC Board of Directors Committee. I hereby nominate Ellie Kabler to the position of RSC Board of Directors Committee member.
You good?
So Ellie has served within SGA previously and is passionate about ensuring student voices are heard all throughout campus. Ellie's professionalism and dedication will make her an essential member to the RSC Board of Directors.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, does the nominee wish to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ellie. When I was a freshman and into my sophomore year, I served in the SGA 60th cabinet, 61st cabinet. It's been a while. I'm happy to be back. I'm a senior this year in the Barton School of Business doing human resource management. I work at Textron Aviation, and I was looking for a way to be involved and represent students in our community. So this was a perfect opportunity to still be able to represent my constituents and be involved without having as large of a time requirement as it was to be a senator. I'd appreciate your vote on this, and thank you for allowing me to have your time.
Does the nominee wish to take questions?
Sure.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, you may either stay or leave for debate. With that, we'll be moving into the debate period. Is there anyone wishing to debate on this bill at this time? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? SB-62-028 has passed its 2/3 majority requirement with 32 total in favor, 0 against, and 4 abstentions. Moving into item C, which you shall read.
SB-62-029, appointing the position of Health Profession Senator, authored by Katrina Miller, Student Body President. Action 1, to appoint Tao Win to the position of Health Profession Senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Tao, right? Okay, just making sure. So Tao has previously served within SGA and has done amazing work at the previous institution he was at. Not only this, but Tao expressed a deep love and passion for being a voice for the student body, which is a quality and we can only hope. I'm so sorry. Not only this, but Tao expressed a deep love and passion for being a voice for the student body, which is the quality we can only hope for within the association. Not only this, but he's extremely kind and has the most outgoing personality I think I've ever met, and so I think he'd do a really great job at interacting with the student body.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, does the nominee wish to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
Sorry, obviously I haven't been here before. Hi everyone. Sorry I didn't get the memo that everyone's looking snazzy tonight and was looking business cash. So, anyways, thank you, Ms. Miller. As she introduced me, I'm Tao. I'm a biology major in the LAS school, I guess. We didn't have those at Newman. So, like she said, I was at a different institution before, so I'm actually a senior this year, and I served on student government at Newman University for 3 years. So I've been in every kind of spot in the equivalent room of this. So first I was a senator, and then I was a secretary, and then last year I was vice president. And then this year I was supposed to be president, but I guess that begs the question, why am I here? One of the main reasons that I'm here is that it's a really personal issue for me that as a first-generation student, I think I could say that most first-generation students have to pay their own college tuition. And so going to a private institution where tuition's $28,000 a year, that makes it really difficult for a student. So I had to make some decisions for my own health to transfer to a school that I knew was good for me, but also financially more responsible. But obviously that doesn't quench my desire to be a student advocate and also just to be a voice for the students. So having had experience in SGA, it was only like second nature to hope to get involved here. Part of my involvement in my last institution, I worked closely with people that actually sat in these seats before. So I worked closely last year with a previous dean of students here, Christine Schnackert-Luby. And then another familiar name for you guys probably is that I worked closely with Joseph Shepard. He was our director of multicultural and diversity at Newman. So, yeah.
Does the nominee wish to take questions? I'll take that as even. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Sorry, I was just waiting for them. Oh my goodness. Awkward.
Are there any questions? Senator Mounts.
So could you repeat your major and school again?
Yeah, I'm a biology major and I'm in LAS. So.
Are there any other questions?
Fairmount College, sorry, if that's what, yeah. Sorry, we don't have schools at Newman, so.
It says he's a health profession senator. That would not make him a health professions major.
Oh, that's awkward.
Fact.
A point of information, there are open seats in the LAS, if he would like to change that.
Sure, because actually before this, I was deciding between underserved and this, not knowing that you had to be health professions major, because we didn't have a health professions major at Newman, so yes, go ahead. If that's possible, question mark.
Can I consider that your motion to make?
Second. Yeah, motion to amend to LAS Senator instead of health professions.
Point of order, we haven't moved into the debating period yet.
Okay,
I was
never-
waiting for it, Senator Mounts. No, thank you. We'll get to that. All right, as it stands, are there any other questions for the nominee? Senator Khan.
So I'm curious, since you have such a great background in SGA back in Newman, what are some ideas or experiences that you want to bring to SGA here in Wichita State, or maybe you're just wanting to learn something different?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Katrina asked me that during my interview, and obviously, just coming here, you can see how inexperienced I am with this SGA. So there's a lot to learn, but I'm always I see myself as the type of leader that likes to listen to a lot of people before I say anything. So I like to put myself in a position where I'm in a lot of different circles to hear students' issues. So while I may not have basically not even 8 days of experience here on this campus, I'm always kind of interested in having that experience. As vice president at Newman last year, one of the things I reflected on was that it's hard to look at things from a new perspective when you've been sitting in leadership for so long. And so it's always good to have someone's voice who is able to ask what seems like the dumb questions but turns out to be the good questions. Yeah, so I just think it's important for myself to put myself in new circles of people and just see what their issues are. So,
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Senator Zacharias.
Are there any initiatives, you haven't been here long, but are there any initiatives that you might want to take as a member in the Senate?
yeah, so obviously I don't know what all the major ongoing initiatives are, but I'm always really interested in hearing anything that has to do with diversity and inclusion on a campus. Last year I was telling Katrina, last week I was telling Katrina that I was involved with something that was really close to my heart at Newman before I left, was trying to get diversity and inclusion stoles. That's something that a lot of different campuses have. Unfortunately, last year there was a petition made by a multicultural leadership organization that was turned down without any explanation, and that kind of goes at a lot of private schools that you don't get a lot of explanation with things. So it was our job as student government to hold administration accountable. So what we did was we held a town hall where we had members of Asian Student Association, MCLO, come and give their own testimony about why it was important to them to have a multicultural and diversity inclusion stole at their graduation. Still, we didn't get good answers because we referred to a commencement committee, which we didn't know existed. So we gathered 200 signatures in 2 days, and then we presented that to cabinet, and they made time for us at a commencement committee meeting. Sorry, this is a long story. And then, so me and the Multicultural Leadership Organization president herself stood before that committee for 2 hours to answer questions. At the end of the day, it was still turned down. But at a private school, you have to take every victory that you get as a big victory, even if it's a small one. So even with that, we were able to get permission to have a multicultural reception for graduating students. And maybe that's a small thing, like maybe here, but at a private university that's majority Catholic, it's a huge move. So,
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, the nominee may either stay or leave the room for debate.
I'll be in the back, y'all.
Before we get to you, Senator Mounts, there is a motion on the table, and we will get right to it. Did we already make it? Yeah. Is the motion correct?
Point of order, no, it's not. Line 1 and line 2 both still say health profession senator.
There you go. While we're making those changes, this motion still requires a second. Senator Mounts with the second. Move into debate on this motion. Is there anyone wishing to debate? Senator Babin.
Motion to accept by unanimous consent.
We must first finish this motion before we can get to that motion.
That was what I was talking about, because we do have to vote on this. So, the amendment.
Got you. Unanimous consent for the motion proposed. I'm tracking now. Are there any objections? I didn't think so. No, sorry. Motion carries. Moving back to the main item, is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Mounts.
So I will definitely be voting in favor of this nominee. I am really inspired by the steps he has taken at his former university to try to make it a more inclusive place. And I know that he is going to do a great job in the Senate. And so I urge everyone to vote yes on this bill. And I look forward to working with him.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Day.
I would like to strongly endorse this nomination. I believe that he has demonstrated a willingness to help the downtrodden, the vulnerable, the LGBTQ community. In his application, he also brought up as a first-generation student. I think those are very important constituencies that need to be represented by SGA, so I will definitely be voting in favor. I urge every other senator to do so.
Senator Sanchez.
Motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-029 passes with unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item D, as you can see, we're suffering some technical difficulties, so you're not going to see it on the screen, but the chief shall read.
SB-62-30, appointing the position of freshman senator, authored by Katrina Miller, student body president. Action 1, appoint Joseph Luby to the position of freshman senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
So Joseph has previous leadership experience that have allowed him to develop the skills necessary to find out the concerns of others and create solutions to solve those, which are some of the key components to the position of a senator, which I'm sure he'll explain to you what those leadership experiences are whenever he comes to talk to you. I believe Joseph will be a great representative to the freshman constituency group as he hopes to bring a new vision for SGA senators, and I believe that will work just perfectly with our current freshman senators as well.
Are there any questions for the author? Senator Martin.
How many spots do we have for freshman senators?
Gabe?
There are a total of 5 and only 2 are filled.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the author? Seeing none, does the nominee wish to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
Good evening, senators. I would first like to thank the president and vice president for at least considering me, because when I came for my interview, I looked like a hobo. But it's all good. It's okay. As I said, my name is Joe Luby. I will be studying aerospace engineering. That's my major, obviously. Let's see. So as the president mentioned earlier, I have leadership skills from my high school experience. So I went to Bishop Carroll. So we just recently got a new leadership organization. We switched from Stuco to a community system. That community system is composed of 8 different communities, and in those communities, or for each community has 2 community coordinators, and each community has 8 houses. So, and then in each house there's a house leader. I was nominated for a community coordinator, but did not get the position because I was slightly less known than the other running mates. But that didn't stop me. I was the second hand to those community coordinators of my community. and I made sure that I was at every event that I could, and I made sure that my voice was heard, and I made sure that my whole community knew who I was and that I was supporting them. And then another example, back sophomore year, I was on a engineering team for a KU competition, and we were struggling for an idea for our competition, and I came up with the idea to build a blimp. It was an aero project, and this was an innovative idea that met the requirements but was very outside the box because most everyone used the cookie cutter planes, you wind them up and you throw them, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought of a blimp, but I was on a team, I was sophomore, and the team I was with other seniors, so you would think that the seniors would take the lead of the project, but I in turn took charge. Thank you for hearing me for this little bit of time, and that's all I have.
Does the nominee wish to take questions?
Yes, I do.
Are there any questions? Senator Khan.
So, since you are a freshman, how do you plan on educating yourself about the issue that the freshman class faces?
Well, I guess just trying to be there and try to be active, try to go out and about, just watch, because I'm a people person, like a people watcher. So I try to pick up on habits and things that people do. I don't know if that really answered your question. Did it? Kind of, not really? Okay, I might table.
Senator Zacharias.
So I'm not sure if you are aware, but we have 4 different committees in SGA that senators are required to serve on. There's diversity and diversity task force, safety and student services, academics, and budget and finance. Which one do you think you would be best able to serve in, and why?
That's a very good question. I would have to do a little bit more research on that, because I want to make sure that the position that I'm in, I fulfill correctly and with purpose. So I might have to. I'll get back to you, or get back to everyone, and see what my answer is on that.
Senators, let's remember to keep our questions germane. What committee they intend to serve on has no bearing on whether they can or cannot serve. Senator Kendrick.
Your demographics at your high school, you said they were broken down into communities. What community would you have represented it if you were elected? And then what were some of the other communities that were present there?
I think I maybe be a little more clear about the communities. It wasn't necessarily how do I want to put this, like clubs. Is that what you're thinking about?
Is it a matter of parishes, like you guys represent your parish, or what was it that you said there were multiple communities?
Yes.
You almost made your community. What was your community? Is it where you lived?
Yeah,
Is it
okay.
your club, your sport, your interests? What was the community?
Okay, so the communities were composed randomly of seniors or freshmen through seniors, depending on it was all weighted on cumulative GPA, what sports you were in, where you're from, and like I said, freshman through senior. So it was a way for our school to get more closely knit. So because we did a poll the following or the earlier than the year, that there was 40% of the students didn't have a close friend or someone to talk to. So we wanted to make sure that everyone had a tight-knit community. So, but yeah, that's how they were split up. It wasn't like a set. It was pretty random. Does that answer your question? And did you have a second question? Did I get it? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm covering all the bases.
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Senator Spencer.
Hi, I was just wondering if you were looking to be currently involved in any other organizations besides SGA, and how you would manage your time along with SGA.
Probably not. I'll probably just stick with SGA at the moment, just to see how it goes, and see how it goes, and just see where I I can fit in and what I can do to make Wichita State a better and more positive place. I mean, I haven't really looked really that hard. I mean, this is the first thing I really found, and I was really interested in. So it depends on the future and what I might go into.
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, you may either stay or leave for debate. Thank you. With that, we'll move into the debate period. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Zacharias.
I just want to speak in favor for the candidate because everyone is nervous up there. So I think that should be taken into consideration, as well as the fact that he has been involved. His application was very nice. And I think that he has a lot to give to SGA, and just because he isn't going out and joining every club, that doesn't mean he can't accurately voice his constituents. So I will be voting in favor.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand high. All opposed? SB-62-030 has passed its two-thirds majority requirement with 30 in favor, 0 against, and 6 abstentions. Moving into item E, Chief shall read.
SB-62-31, appointing the position of freshman senator, authored by Katrina Miller, student body president. Action 1, to appoint Jordan Glover to the position of freshman senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
I am getting my steps in for the day, that's for sure. Okay. So Jordan previously served with an SGA at his high school, allowing him the opportunity to gain the skills necessary for a senator position here at WSU. From these skills, Jordan portrayed a strong ability to voice the concerns of freshmen and a passion for serving others.
Are there any questions for the author? Seeing none, is the nominee here? Would you like to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
Okay, good evening, Senators. My name is Jordan Glover. I am studying aerospace engineering from Kansas City, Missouri. And as said before by President Miller, I have served in an SGA previously. I have been the president for my school for my senior year, serving as an officer for the previous 3 years, freshman, sophomore, and junior. I have also served as our class president for our senior year, and another thing I forgot to put on my application was I was involved in the 79th session of Missouri Boys State. So I have seen that parliamentary procedure has been going on within this room, and I'm a little bit familiar with this. So serving as a senator in that room there has also gave me a little grant and wanting to be here in this room with you guys today. So as my passion for SGA, I always want to put the student first. It's always been my thing for those 4 years of high school, and I will carry that through college life. But student population, student body population, and mental health and how we go about our daily lives throughout college is one of the most important necessities that we have to keep in mind. So with this, having a good, strong student body, a student government right here will ensure that every student can be successful and happy in their college life, which I think is the #1 priority for students aside from their education. So I want to be a part of this team and making that true for everybody. One of my main goals is I'm particularly interested in diversity and inclusion. If you want to ask me that. But one of my main things is I want to involve freshmen a little bit more prior to their high school or prior to their college coming. So recently what I was involved in was this program called the C program. It's the Shocker Engineering Academy. This was the inaugural year for it. So what happened was the week of August the 10th, we were involved in this program, which allowed us 12 students, including myself, which allowed us to basically join the Go Baby Go Club. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that, but anyways, this is one of our service learning targets for engineers. I don't know how many engineers we have in this room right here, but all engineering students know that there is this requirement called Engineering 2020, and completing this program here was allowed me to complete one of my 2020 requirements, which I think was very beneficial to coming to college and able to knock this out before actually starting my year. So one of the things that I want to kind of implement, if possible, was to create more of these kind of programs prior to the actual college starting time, probably in the summer or even senior high school year, just so these kids can get a little jump start on their college without being pressured by other students with a big college intimacy and how many students are around them. Because I come from a small school, so being around 20,000 kids, 15,000 kids is just a whole new cultural shock for me. But anyway, so I know how that less minority population would feel and how all students feel. So being able to incorporate these kind of events that can help you get a jump start, kind of introduce you to college, get your foot in the water with your degree program is one of the things I want to help kids out with. So yeah, please keep listening for me. I love to be in the SGA program and implement these changes and ideas. So thank you guys for listening to me.
Does the nominee wish to take questions?
Absolutely.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Senator Zacharias.
So in the portion of your application about your leadership abilities, you talked about how you tried to make attendance in your SGA more and to improve attendance. On our campus, we have a big issue with people being aware of what SGA is. How would you address that? Yeah,
so in my application, I shared with attendance through our SGA, and one of the things I did that was utilizing this app called Team Snap, and basically, everybody's on their phone nowadays. Nobody's going to drop their phone for anything. So keeping an app on your phone that allows you to see what is going on at the exact time, how many people are going to be there. I was able to keep track of were you able to be coming? Were you not going to be coming? Was it a maybe? What's your reason? So as far as college goes and for SGA events, getting people involved, one of these apps can actually be useful. In fact, Team Snap can be useful if we actually if you want to try that out. But I understand how attendance can be within certain clubs and organizations. So this would be a priority. Because we want to have as high as attendance as we can possibly get, so we're representing the most student body and population as we can. So yes, that would be a goal for me, and any kind of way we can work that out, I would do it.
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, the nominee may either stay or leave for debate. Moving into the debate period, is there anyone wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Martin.
Clearly, he knows what he's talking about, and I think would be a great addition for all of us. I think his previous leadership skills show even when he's up there, and so I look forward to hopefully working with him.
Senator Ritchie, you still have a question?
I motion to pass by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries. SB-62-31. Sorry, cut out on. Sorry about that. Moving into item F. Chief shall read.
SB-62-32, appointing the position of engineering senator, authored by Katrina Miller, student body president. Action 1, appoint Emily Orero to the position of engineering senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Emily is an extremely intelligent and well-spoken woman. I was extremely impressed during her interview, who I am sure will have no issue with connecting with students and being their voice within SGA. Emily has been within the engineering field for about 12 years now, according to her application, which allows her a wonderful insight to the concerns this constituency faces every day.
Any questions for the author? Seeing none, is the nominee here? Does the nominee wish to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. As you've heard, my name is Emily Orwaru. I'm a graduate student in aerospace. I have been in the... I have been in aerospace for the last 12 years. I graduated with my bachelor's in aerospace from Samara State Aerospace University, which is in Russia. I can fluently speak Russian. I can as well speak Swahili, and I'm really trying to speak English now. Yeah, so after that, I joined an African airline. It's called Kenya Airways. It's actually one of the SkyTeam members, partners with Delta Airlines, and it's actually the pride of Africa. I worked there for like 5 years, actually resigned on 26th of July to come back to school after I got my admission in WSU. I'm really excited to be here, and one of the reasons that I chose WSU was because Wichita is known as the air capital of the world. And one funny thing is that when I was applying for my visa, the immigration officer asked me, "Why do you want to be a shocker?" Yeah, I was surprised that, you know, so many people know that, especially in my country. Because when I was Googling WSU, it came fourth in the list of aerospace, which is really very good because you can imagine the number of universities we have in the world. So I'm really proud to be here. So I was working as a project manager where I was managing about 200 engineers and technicians. I have vast experience in project management and also in administrative and policy making. I hope to bring this here, and the reason why I came back to school is because I want to be in innovation. So the future is engineering, and I just don't know which side of engineering you want to be in, because as engineers we are known to solve problems, all kinds of problems. And so my main goal this year, 2019-2020, is to make sure that we have as many innovations as possible. I want to attract so much funding. I want to get the engineers to be seen. I want WSU to be in the list of the best universities in the world. I don't want it to appear number 4 in Google. I want it to appear number 1. So another thing I really want to speak about is that one of the reasons that I applied for these positions is because in my high school I wasn't captain of anything. Reasons being that I was an introvert, and so as much as I had so many things to tell and so many things that I thought were good and I had very good grades, I wasn't really able to be, to speak out to people. And so I decided that as I'm coming back to graduate school, I want to be, more involved. I want to bring along the engineers as well so that they can, speak their mind, and also so that we can address our problems together. Most of the people say that engineers are introverts. It is true to some extent, but I'm sure that there's a way we can, work something out so that they can be as much involved as the rest of, all of you here. So I'm really excited to be also in the United States. This is like, I've only been here for about 15 days. So please, when you see me getting lost, and also when you cannot really understand my accent, please bear with me. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Does the nominee wish to take questions?
Yeah, sure.
Are there any questions for the nominee?
Ask me questions.
Senator Zacharias.
So with you being a graduate student, how do you plan on reaching undergraduate engineers and representing them?
Actually, that's a very good question. Thank you for that. In one of the classes that I'm taking, which is partial differential equations, most of the students are undergraduate students. We are like only 4 of us who are graduates. So I speak to people, even on the corridors, I speak to people whether you're engineering or not. I want to know, what people are taking, and the few that I've met, I've really, told them what I have in mind. So, and also I've joined a couple of groups, couple of, what do you call? The word is, I'm only thinking it in, organizations. Yeah, so I hope to reach them through that, and also through Twitter. I'm not in Facebook, unfortunately, but hopefully I'll join. Yeah.
Any other questions for the nominee? Senator Peterson.
So, being that you're going to be, if appointed, as engineer senator, is there any issues or concerns that you've seen while you've been on campus that you would like to bring to concern as a senator?
One of the things that I really want is to have a database where we can put all our research projects in one area. Because sometimes when I want to know of what's going on in the university, I have to go to the professors and to the, I want everybody to be able to just find it somewhere. And this is going to be a very good basis for us even when we want to ask for more funding. Because then we are going to say we had projects number 1 up to 100, but we were only able to accomplish 20 because of the little funding that we got. But as we are right now, we have nothing to, data is there, but it's just scattered all over. So with this, I hope to bring my project management skills and my planning skills to make sure that everything is in order. Yeah.
Are there any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none. Sorry. Nominee may either stay or leave for debate. Moving into the debate period. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Kendrick.
I just would like to endorse this candidate. Emily is an authentic, loving, caring person. She's intelligent and a great representation of the aero engineering community here on campus and a representation of the greater Wichita community. Her presence will strengthen and build our community, our university, and our association.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Senator Brown.
Motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
Any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-032 is adopted with unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item G, Chief shall.
SB-62-33, appointing the position of freshman senator, authored by Katrina Miller, student body president. Action first to appoint Chris Herbert now to the position of freshman senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
So Chris is dedicated to ensuring freshman students are supported, as this is a trying time for this group. Chris is also very well spoken and is extremely passionate about ensuring all students are equally represented, which is why Chris will be a wonderful addition to SGA.
Any questions for the author? Senator Martin.
Is this the last spot for freshman senators?
No, 2 more.
2 more. Wait.
Senator Zacharias.
If there are currently 2 freshman senators and there's 3 on the bill tonight, wouldn't that equal the 5 that we were told there were total seats for?
Any other questions for the author? Seeing none, is the nominee here? Would you like to speak to this bill? Please approach the podium.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Herbert Njau, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you. For one, I'm very passionate about service and leadership because from where I worked before, I actually worked with Emily in an African airline, and I worked as a senior engineer where I was able to lead a number of people that's in aircraft maintenance. As we worked together, actually, one of the things basically that I was able actually to embrace was service, because as you lead people, most of the time you find your interests have to come last. And so, I'm very passionate after I joined Wichita State University as a freshman, I'm passionate of leading the freshman group, and I believe I can actually be the bridge to bring where their voices can be heard. Thank you.
Does the nominee wish to take questions?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions? Senator Khan.
So since you are a freshman, are you looking into joining any other organizations on campus?
Yes, I'm still looking into basically the different setups, but especially the committees. I'm also keen about the finance committees, and this is because in my previous experience, I've served as a delegate in a SACCO, where I was actually the watchdog of how the money of the delegates is being spent, and to ensure that there's no misappropriation of funds.
Any other questions for the nominee? Seeing none, nominee may stay or leave for debate. Thank you. Moving into the debating period, is there anyone wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Kendrick.
Chris is personable, passionate, prepared, innovative, and reflects ideals congruent with this university and its association. I completely endorse this bill.
Senator Ritchie.
I motion to pass with unanimous consent.
Any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-033 passes with unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item H, the Chief Show.
SB-62-34, appointing the position of at-large senator, authored by Katrina Miller, Student Body President. Action first, to appoint Lee Wang to the position of at-large senator.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Okay. So as a few of us know, Lee has previously served within SGA and has done great work in the past. Lee is such a kind person and passionate about serving the student body, and I am excited to see the work she will continue if confirmed as an at-large senator.
Any questions for the author? Seeing none, does the nominee wish to speak to this? Please approach the podium.
Hello everyone, my name is Lee, and today is my birthday. First thing that you know. And then the reason why I decided to come back to SGA is because this is my last semester, and I really do want to make change in campus. Last semester, I have a privilege of serving in student service committee, and then we working on tobacco legislation, try to like revamp it, make more people know about this this thing in campus. It's called tobacco-free policy. But till today, I see still some people will walk around the campus, have their tobacco in their hand. I really want to stop them. So I want to bring more signage to campus, and that's something that I really, really wish to like make it happen when it's my last semester here. Also, this new semester, I want to do more things towards the students here. I want to bring more artwork to campus, dream and wish the new mural in front of business building. I really want to see more of that in campus. We want to like blend into Wichita community, because Wichita is the place that now people know as a place that have a lot of art, and then we have a lot different art events in campus, and then we want more people to know about it and make it happen, make it visible. And then also, I'm really, really passionate about Shocker Support Locker. If you don't know that you can help recover food from different places and bring them to Shocker Support Locker, you need to learn about that. I can tell you all about it, okay? Even though I'm not in SGA anymore, I still go pick up food runs and then deliver them to Shocker Support Locker during the summer when I'm serving in a nonprofit as a AmeriCorps Vista member. And right now, I still work for a nonprofit called Storytime Village. So we're gonna open a literacy center across from Wichita State. We want to bring more opportunity to the campus and make people know about literacy, art, and then bring all together. If you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the nominee? Seeing none, the nominee may either stay or leave for debate. Moving into the debate period, is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Mounts, saw you first.
So I had the privilege of serving in SGA last year with Lee, and I want to say that she is probably one of like the greatest people I've ever met, and I've absolutely loved working with her. And even not being in SGA, she's already doing services for students, especially bringing food to Shocker Support Locker over the summer. Like, that is something that I find incredible, and I think that she is going to be doing a great service to this university, not if, but when she gets appointed.
Senator Khan, you still have a question?
So I also want to say that Lee Wang has been in Senate. She was in Senate last year, and I also had a privilege to work with her. I got to know her, and first of all, happy birthday. And, you know, I would encourage all of you to vote in favor for her nomination today. And I'm just very proud to say that, you know, she has done her work in the past, and she's still super passionate as she came up and spoke to us. And also, if no one has anyone, you know, after everyone is done debating, I want to be the one to make the motion to pass her nomination by unanimous consensus after everyone is done. So I don't know if that's okay to do.
Senator Day.
Yes, I had the great privilege to work with Lee during the summer. I was a summer associate with Storytime Village with AmeriCorps Vista, and she is an unbelievably hard worker. She has a tremendous warm character that she's an incredibly kind person, incredibly hardworking. So I am going to strongly endorse her appointment to the Senate.
Senator Zacharias, do you still wish to debate?
So Lee is a wonderful person. She is hardworking, and she is a leader. She proves that by showing up today and wanting to join SGA, but I believe she is truly fit for this position because she is a leader among leaders. Last year, when I joined SGA, she was one of my greatest resources, and I believe that she would be a great resource for everyone here in Senate, and she would be a great addition to this Senate.
Senator Ritchie, do you still have a debate? Are there any other? Senator Khan.
Motion to pass this.
Adopt with unanimous consent.
Pass with unanimous consent. Yep.
Any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-034 passes with unanimous consent of the Senate.
Can we motion to sing happy birthday?
No.
Okay.
That concludes Section 7, appointments. Moving into Section 8, unfinished business. Item A. You got it? Yeah. Chief shall read.
I'll pull it up in just a second. SB-62-20, grant recognition to Shakapella, authored by Maggie Hull, RSO graduate assistant, John Kirk, Shakapella president, Gabriel Fonseca, assistant director of student involvement.
As a reminder, we did read about this last week, so this will be its second read, in which case we will move directly into the debating period. Is there anyone wishing to debate on this item at this time? Senator Martin.
So I would like to speak in favor of recognizing this organization. I'm a little bit biased because Courtney's my best friend, but still, as a former fine arts student, current fine arts student, I see the hard work that they put in, and I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of students, whether they're in music programs or not, and so I think that you should all vote yes.
Is there anyone else wishing to debate at this time? Senator Reed.
Howdy. At last week's session, they mentioned that at the moment there are a few people actually involved with the program. I would like to suggest that until they come back with a sufficient number of people, they should not be granted recognition. Prove that you can get the people, and you can have the recognition. Is my take on this issue.
Senator Mounts.
So, regarding to what the previous senator mentioned, they actually do have to prove that they have they have to have a sufficient amount of people, which is, I believe, 5, to actually make an RSO. So these people have gone through the whole process, and it's not easy to actually do something like this, because they also do have to find a sponsor and things like that. So they have hit the required amount of people to actually make a club here at WSU, and so I will be voting in favor, not only just because I believe in their mission, but also they have fulfilled every aspect of the RSO handbook, and I know Gabe and Maggie, who is the RSO graduate assistant, have made sure of that.
Senator Martin.
Also, in regards to you, Senator Reed, they have 5 officers, which is the required amount. However, they are an auditioned group that has yet to hold auditions. In the past, I think last year they had 13 members, so they have proven that they can have the members, but that is something they have to audition for, which has not happened yet. But as of right now, they have the required amount, and they've gone through the process, so I believe that should not be a part of our decision.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? Reach. Yeah. SB-62-020 has passed its simple majority requirement with 30 in favor, 1 against, and 5 abstentions. Moving into item B, the Chief shall read.
SB-62-21, grant recognition to the Black Honor Society, authored by Maggie Hull, RSO graduate assistant, Star Billingsley, Black Honor Society president, and Gabriel Fonseca, assistant director of student involvement.
Again, we discussed the first read last week. So we'll move directly into the debating period. Is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Brown.
So, having spoke with Star about the Black Honor Society, I feel like this is a really good organization to have on campus for Black students because we are a small community, and I feel like just being in this space and being able to excel academically at the same time would be a great asset to have for as far as diversity and inclusion on campus. So I encourage everyone to vote in favor for this bill.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Senator Kendrick.
I endorse this bill. I support this organization's ability to provide honor students from the African diaspora with opportunities to network, engage, and to celebrate Black men and women in all forms of academia, and to promote the excellence within the Black Honor Society here on campus and the greater Wichita community. And as they said, when they network at Big 12, that includes Missouri, that includes Nebraska, that it just propels them in a way that they absolutely deserve. So I absolutely support this bill.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? SB-62-021 has passed its simple majority requirement with 31 in favor, 5 abstentions. Moving into item D, the chief shall read.
SB-62-22, grant recognition of Physician Assistant Student Organization, authored by Maggie Hull, RSO Graduate Assistant, Max Kars, Pre-Physician Assistant Student Organization President.
Moving directly into debate, is there anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Tehran.
It's okay, Tehran. Okay. But I would like to encourage you all to help pass this bill. As for it can be a scary process, applying to your graduate school. And this club would provide great opportunity for volunteer work and obviously of no cost, so you don't have to join, expensive organizations to get yourself out there and network. And they would bring people down to, they would bring like doctors and PAs down to speak to them to, give them some insight on their experience. And I think it would be a valuable time and input for this club to be made. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Castillo.
I would also like to speak in favor of this bill. After having multiple conversations with Max about him starting up this organization, I know he's very passionate about this, and I know that with that passion, he's bringing along a great set of students who are also passionate about becoming PAs, and just having this within the College of All Professions, I feel like would open up a door of opportunities for other students in other programs to have similar organizations. So this would be like a jumping point to help make sure that our students within the College of All Professions are successful and that they have multiple opportunities post their graduation from here.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, We'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? SB-62-023 has passed its simple majority requirement with 32 in favor, 0 against, and 4 abstentions. Moving into item E. Senator Mounts.
Wait, did you say, sorry, point of information, did you say item D or item E?
E.
E, okay, with the motion?
Senator Mounts.
Motion to recess for 10 minutes.
This motion is not debatable. It does require 2/3, right? As a reminder, 2/3 would be...
Point of order, it is majority.
I stand corrected. Majority, which would be, simple majority is 17. With that in mind, all those in favor of taking a 10-minute, correct? 10-minute recess, please raise your hand. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We will take a 10-minute recess. Please return to your seats at 8:57 p.m. Senators, you have 4 minutes. Senators, you have 2 minutes. You got the exact time? Because it's seconds. Senators, 1 minute. Please find your way to your seats. All right. Senators, take your seats. Since we have recessed, we are coming back into session at 8:57. Roll call must be taken again. With that, when I call your name, please answer with either present or here. Senator Isidlani. Senator Babin.
Present.
Senator Bradley. Here. Senator Brown.
Here.
Senator Castillo.
Here.
Senator Coates. Senator Cowden. Senator Cunningham.
Here.
Senator Day. Senator Flores.
Here.
Senator Gibson. Senator Giunta. Senator Hopper.
Here.
Senator Kata.
Here.
Senator Kahinde. Senator Kendrick.
Here.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Mai.
Here.
Senator Martin. Gabe.
Point of order, turn your mics off. We can only have 4 on at one time.
That is correct.
Oh, now it works. Here.
Senator Mattson.
Present.
Senator Miller.
Here.
Senator Morgan. Senator Navarro.
Point of
Sorry.
order, you skipped me.
I was getting to you. Senator Mouts.
Here.
Senator Peter.
Here.
Senator Peterson.
Here.
Senator Reed.
Here.
Senator Ritchie.
Here.
Senator Sanchez. Senator Spencer.
Present.
Senator Tehran.
Here.
Did I say it right this time? Senator Tubak.
Here.
Senator Tucker.
Present.
Senator Webb.
Here.
Senator Wright.
Present.
Senator Zacharias.
Here.
New totals. We have 31 in attendance. We still meet our quorum of 18. Simple majority is 16. 2/3 of present is 21. 2/3 of majority is still 24. And then we were on 23, right? Right. With that, I was off on my numbers. We are moving into item D for SB-62-023. Sorry about that. Chief shall read.
SB-62-23, grant recognition to Sports Management Student Association, authored by Maggie Hull, Oroso Graduate Assistant, Zachary Morris, Sports Management Student Association President.
Moving into debate, is there anyone wishing to debate on this item at this time? Senator Mounts.
Motion to pass by unanimous consensus.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, SB-62-023 passes with unanimous consent of the Senate. Now moving into item E. Chief shall read.
SB-62-24, the Association's Commitment to Excellence Act, authored by Michael Berth, Student Body Vice President, Gabriel Fonseca, Assistant Director of Student Involvement, and Katrina Miller, Student Body President.
Moving directly into debate on this item, is there anyone wishing to debate? Senator Mounts.
Hello, all. So, I think for the most part, I actually am going to be supporting this bill. Overall, it mostly makes some just grammatical changes and things like that. And it does actually eliminate the holdover positions for senators, which we've never used. So my only qualm with it is more of the reserving seats for cabinet members, because I do think they should play a part in SGA. How that will affect us, I am not sure. That being said, I think overall this bill is good, and I am throwing my support behind it.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Seeing none, we will move into the voting period. As a reminder, this does require a 2/3 majority, which is 24. All those in favor, please raise your hand and hold them high. All opposed? So that would be SB-62-024 has passed the 2/3 majority requirement with 29 in favor and 6 abstentions. Moving into item F.
Point of information.
Senator Mounts.
If I have multiple amendments, do I do those all in one motion or each amendment in one separate motion?
As long as your amendment is talking about the same article, you can do that in one go. Preferably the same paragraph, that way we all stay on the same page and eliminate confusion. Does that answer your question?
SB-62-25, the Accelerating the Internal Mission Act, authored by Michael Burr, Student Body Vice President, Gabriel Fonseca, Assistant Director of Student Involvement, Katrina Miller, Student Body President.
Moving directly into debate, is there anyone wishing to debate on this item? Senator Mounts.
Motion to amend section, or I guess Part 4, Article 2, Section 1 of the bylaws. I would like to change that from strike.
Line number, please.
81 and 82 is what I have on there. So instead of striking that, so just some explanation on this motion.
You do have the right to speak first, but
Okay.
you must be recognized in order to do so.
So
Please allow us the time to ensure that your motion is captured accurately, and then we'll get to you.
Okay, so I motion to change from strike just to delete those entire sentences and keep it as it is in the Constitution.
Does this amendment match what you just proposed?
Yes.
With that, you do have the right to speak first. Would you like to speak?
I would. So I have been in contact with the former treasurer, Stella Yang, for quite a while now. We actually share some of the same classes. However, I was talking to her specifically about this act. And I have quite a few problems, specifically in the parts dealing with the treasurer. So for your information, this is essentially eliminating the treasurer from the position of the Budget and Finance Committee, a position that actually pays out $2,200 for the entire year. So my goal is basically to continue to keep the treasurer in this position. And going back, Stella Yang actually has a emeritus status, for which, if you do not know what that means, is she can actually come and sort of give her opinion on topics to Senate. And unfortunately, she's not able to be here tonight because she has class. However, she has talked and mentioned that she's talked to the speaker multiple times during this process, and how basically against her wishes that he would not listen to her opinions and things like that. And she is incredibly concerned about the issues it could cause dividing both the Senate and the executive branch when it comes to doing treasurer-related activities and dealing with money and things like that. So I believe it is in not only the Senate's best interest, but our constituents' best interest and everyone's best interest at this university. And I will save the explanation for later, but basically to keep the treasurer in the position of the Budget and Finance Committee.
I do have one point of clarification with that. Doing so does not remove the treasurer from the Budget and Finance Committee. It just removes them from being the chair. With that, is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this motion?
Point of order.
Who said it? I didn't see it.
Over here. The amendment was never seconded.
Thank you, Senator Zacharias, for the second. Moving now into debate on this motion. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Please use your mic.
Thank you. So just to be clear, this amendment would eliminate the proposed Budget and Finance chair. That's the purpose of this amendment. Am I correct?
I believe so. Senator Mounts, is that correct?
No. So what I'm trying to do is, so this is striking, basically what has been written in the bill is striking the part of the bylaws that that basically have the treasurer serve as chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. And so my goal with multiple amendments, which I will deal with later, is basically to keep the treasurer in that position as chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. And so striking this, basically striking it out of the bill, keeping it in the Constitution, or keeping it in the bylaws.
Thus eliminating the proposed chair. So not bringing in a new chair, but keeping the treasurer as chair. Senator Morton.
I'm in favor of Senator Mount's amendment. I think due to issues of clarity in communication between the treasurer and the cabinet as well as us, but also just because of how much money that committee does deal with, I think that making sure that there is oversight from somebody like the treasurer who does it nonstop, it would just be, I feel like, an easier process.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate on Senator Mount's motion?
Point of information. So is this is just striking the requirement that the treasurer serve as the chair of the committee, but the treasurer will still be required to serve on the committee? Is that correct?
Are you speaking about the main motion or Senator Mount's motion?
Or regarding Senator Mount's amendment, would the actually, no, I take that back. Regarding the main motion.
So with the main motion, we're talking about the motion. You can't get to another motion before the others. So we'd have to talk about Senator Mount's first.
Okay.
If you would like to propose it in such a way that you are referring to his instead of the main, you may do so.
Let's see if I can do that. So if we strike that information with Senator Mount's amendment, the treasurer will be required to be the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Currently is the treasurer so if that were to come to fruition, then, or if it, all right, you know what? Let's just vote on this.
It's okay. Senator Babin, I saw you first.
Point of information. Should the amendment fail, would the treasurer serve on the committee, just not as the chairperson?
Yes, the treasurer would serve as an ex officio member of that committee. Senator Peterson.
So seeing the other side of this, if the treasurer was not to serve as the chairperson, we're going to assume that another senator would have a better fit as the chairperson, or another senator would serve as the chair, correct?
Another senator would have to serve as the chair.
Okay, I was just making sure we see both sides of that. I think that, honestly, the best person to serve as the Budget and Finance Chair is going to be the treasurer, hands down. They were elected into this position expecting that they would have to do that. And so I think that it is fair to say that it's in not only our best interest as senators, but also our constituents' best interest to make sure we have the best resource available. So I think that it is the best idea, and I will be voting for the amendment to be striked.
Senator Zacharias, I saw you first.
I will be voting in favor of this amendment simply because it worries me that we would leave this position open to be filled by a senator when we have not had senators apply for the chair positions that we currently have. I am really worried about this being filled since it is such a vital part of the Senate and our duties. So I will vote in favor for this amendment.
Senator Teran.
Yeah. So, one, the treasurer has already pointed out that we don't have the extensive knowledge, of the budget as she does. So, I guess I want to know why why the treasurer shouldn't be the chairperson, I suppose, or as proposed in the original amendment.
I'll let the treasurer answer that one.
I am allowed to speak to myself if there is something.
You are
okay.
correct.
If something arises, didn't want to do something that wasn't allowed. All right. So there's been a lot of conversation within the cabinet about whether or not this is the right move to make. After serving as the treasurer for the past 2 weeks, there is a lot of work to be done on the budget and in my role as the chief financial officer of the organization that I frankly don't have time to do because I spend so much time answering emails about individual and organizational funding. My primary role as treasurer is to know exactly where all of our money is going after the Senate allots it, and then also to educate you on where it is going and where last year's Senate said that it should go, and then also what you guys answer questions about what you think should happen in the future. And I really think, especially when it comes to student fees and what I was talking about earlier, that I don't have enough time to do that because I spend probably 60% of my time working on individual and organizational funding. So if I could free up 10 hours a week to work on my other duties, that would be amazing. So that has been, I was unsure about what I thought about it in the beginning of my appointment, and it took some time for me to really accustom myself to the position and realize that I think this is actually a very good change. So that's all. Is this from you, Senator Munz? Okay.
Before we get to that, we do only have 15 minutes left in our meeting, so I will entertain a motion to extend. Senator Wright.
I motion to extend the meeting to 10 o'clock.
Motion is to extend the time to adjourn to 10 o'clock. Thank you, Senator Zacharias. With that, it is not debatable. So we'll move directly into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries. New time to adjourn will be 10 o'clock. Senator Mounts, do you still have a debate?
Yeah, so going back to what Stella has said to me, the issue is not necessarily, I mean, I do have my own qualms with the treasurer not serving as a chairperson, but the issue more lies within the uncertainty of how this situation is going to work, because correct me if I'm wrong, but as soon as we pass these bylaws, they do come into effect, unlike Constitution, which does need to be approved by the student body.
So in that, the Constitution does have to go through and get approved by the student body. The bylaws still have to get approved by the president after you do so. And she has 30 days, right? Or no, 7 days, sorry. I gave her way too much time. So there is that 7-day window, and then the statutes still have to get signed by the president of the university.
So as I was saying, the issue more lies...
Before your follow-up, is there any other debate?
I wasn't done speaking before you interrupted me, but okay.
You had a two-part. That's why I was able to answer. So it's a two-part. That's a follow-up. Any others? Senator Mattson.
I'd like to speak in favor of this amendment to strike lines 81 and 82. I don't want to rehash any of the other valid points that have been made in debate. I would like to just bring a few other points to the discussion, one being that the Budget and Finance Committee does allocate SGA funds, not Senate funds. So in the event that this amendment were to fail and it were to pass as part of this act, we would have a senator chairing this committee, bringing those funds to the floor, and then the Senate confirming that. So I believe that the way that we have the system working now allows for both equal input from Cabinet as well as Senate, so balance of power is good. And there's other ways, alternative ways for us to, as senators, contribute that don't involve creating an entirely new chair position. As mentioned, this is a job that takes a considerable amount of time, and 10 hours as a chair might not be enough time. We could look into restructuring the Budget and Finance Committee or having other ways that we could assist Treasurer Osterman in fulfilling her responsibilities, but I don't believe that this is the best way. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Senator Taran.
Yeah, so other committees could have like co-chairs, and that would take the workload off, but I suppose like, we could propose that she doesn't have to be the chairperson, considering she doesn't feel like she could allocate that time, but she could be, like, there is a possibility of co-chair.
Senator Martin.
When applying for the treasurer position, isn't this in the application as part of the duties?
That is correct.
So I think that when applying for treasurer,
Please keep it to your sentence.
okay, that being said, when it comes to allocation of time, I think that this is something that should be prioritized.
Treasurer Osterman.
So in the past sessions, the treasurers, and I don't mean to speak poorly of the past treasurers, and I'm not, but they were told that this was their primary duty, is to fulfill the role of the committee chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. And as a result of that, our own office books, the student fund money, and the student fees money and the student fees fund have been overlooked for about 4 years. So I have a lot of work to do to catch up, to put everything back in order. There just wasn't. So, for example, like, I don't even know how to describe it without going into everything that I do in a day. If I were to feel that I was fulfilling my role as the chief financial officer for the organization, I feel that I need to go through each budget from last year that is within the student fees binder and understand exactly how the money was allocated amongst each of the organizations. And there are 45 budgets, which means that's like, I mean, it's 10 pages of paperwork plus the 3 pages of each budget, which is approximately 13 pages apiece. I mean, it's over 500 pages of documentation that I have to sift through. And if I spend 60% of my time answering emails, I won't get to do that. Now, it's up to the Senate to decide where they want me, right? How much time they want me to put to each thing. So that's ultimately your decision, which is why it's before the Senate today. So,
Senator Kendrick, do you still wish to debate?
I do. I think obviously her presence is needed here. That's what at least 2 or 3 of us have said. But maybe this could be an issue that's tabled for a couple weeks until she can perform the audits that she needs to do to be updated with what's going on. I know 2 weeks isn't going to get it done. I know it. However, budget and finance, I think in terms of oversight, I know that you'll be there on the committee, but in terms of being the chairperson, that's a powerful, non-objective, unbiased role that I don't feel comfortable putting into anybody else's hands unless they've been properly vetted.
Senator Flores, do you still have a debate?
So obviously I want to listen to Treasurer Osterman and listen to her concerns, and I do sympathize with the fact that she does not have a lot of time. But as a lot of other senators have mentioned, there are a lot of problems with the bill as it is, and so I am in favor of the amendment. As Senator Mattson stated, with maintaining the balance of power, as well as the points that Senator Mounts has brought up, I just think that the bill as it is in its current form creates too many problems, seeing as I think it would be difficult to balance having the treasurer on the Budget and Finance Committee as well as a separate chairperson, and to see if there are conflicting views on those 2 parts, who to defer to, I think makes it extremely difficult. And so while I do think that there are problems that need to be remedied. I do not think that the bill as it is in its current form is the solution, so I will be in favor of the amendment.
Senator Gibson, do you still have a debate?
So as it was mentioned before, there's not a lot of applications for the committee chairs as it is. And trying to find someone, trying to push it out that there's one more chair position that needs to be filled whenever there's already three others that's not, it kind of makes another problem. So I'm voting in favor of the amendment.
Senator Wright, do you still have a debate?
Yes. So I think there have been a lot of good points brought up. And I differ in some sense. I do believe there is a lot of merit to having a committee chair just for the Budget and Finance Committee. But at the same time, I think their duties and responsibilities are a lot higher than a lot of the other committee chairs. I think the amount of work in that job is a lot higher than a lot of the other committee chairs, and I'm talking to someone who has served as a committee chair. So I think I am going to vote in favor of this amendment, but I would be in favor of a bill perhaps outlining exactly what the Budget and Finance Committee chair is more specifically. There's already precedent with the Budget and Finance Committee being a little special, right? It's the only one that has special rules about how many people can be in it. And so I'm going to vote in favor of this amendment, but I do think the idea of the bill is good, but it just needs to be reworked, and I'm not a fan of it in its current form.
Senator Mounts, do you still have a debate?
I have a motion to the previous question. Basically, close debate.
Michael.
Yes, Gabe.
I'm going to exercise my speaking rights for a second. So I think there's some clarification to make that I don't think some people understand really quick. One, the allocating authority is vested in the Senate, not the executive, and the decision the Senate just made in the last bill to remove the executive as members of Senate, which is a thing that's a good thing, has just stipulated that an executive officer is now when I use the term interfering, I don't want it to assume that it's like in malintent, but is now stepping into the process that belongs to the Senate. The allocation authority is vested into the hands of the Senate, not the executive branch. The checks and balances comes in from the veto authority of the president, not of them taking part in the decision of voting on it. I think thinking of the chairperson positionship grants that position the right to vote, which I think you look at, is it the place of an officer of the association, an elected appointed officer of the executive level to determine the vote of the legislative body? And so I think just to clarify that the allocation authority is not it's the checks and balances exist through the student body president, not that of the treasurer. And it's deemed into the hands of the Senate to determine whether or not money is spent and how it is spent. The cabinet and the executive officers are in place of following the decisions of the Senate, not necessarily should take part in making the decision of the Senate. I think when you think about the applications of us not getting committee positions, I don't want us to make an assumption that that's because people are not interested in being chairs of our committees. I think that just we don't know. I mean, if we're honest, we don't know why that's an issue of not finding people to apply for the position. So I don't want us to make an assumption that it's because we're struggling to find chair applications from the Senate itself. So those are just, again, some clarifying aspects of some of the points that have been made up, just to make sure everyone understands how and what your governing documents are telling you to do, or basing of who's in charge of what in some aspect. Does that make sense? I felt I was just blabbling, but does that make sense what I just said? Maybe. If not, then let me know. I know. I saw you, Richard. Thank you.
Senator Miller, do you still have a debate?
Yes. I vote that we adopt Senator Mound's amendment, unanimous consensus.
Point of order. I still have a motion on the floor to close debate.
I was getting there. Can't do yours till we finish that one.
I rescind my motion.
Very well. With that said, is there anybody else wishing to speak in debate?
Yes. I vote to adopt Senator Mound's amendment.
Motion
with
to
the amendment.
adopt by unanimous consent.
Yeah.
Are there any objections?
I object.
As there is an objection, we cannot adopt by unanimous consent. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Martin.
Motion to end debate.
So there's a motion to end debate. I don't remember if that one's debatable. I don't think so.
Second.
Thank you. With that, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor of closing the debate period, raise your hands. All opposed? Motion doesn't carry. With that, Senator Tubak.
Point of order, may I ask what the vote was?
So there was 18, and it required a vote of 2/3. When 2/3 is 24. Senator Tubak.
I would just like to remind everyone that as the Senate, we get to decide what we think is the most important thing for the treasurer to be working on. And right now we are deciding whether or not allocating student funds is a more important thing to be working on than our committee. And I think that if we are feeling like we don't have anyone to step up and be the chair of that committee, that's our shortcoming and not hers, and myself included. So I think we just need to keep that in mind.
Sorry about that. Senator Gibson.
I know I mentioned before that there's the committee member problem with being a chair and people may not step up, but I don't think that's the real issue. I don't want to be disrespectful in any sense of the word, but it was a part of the job application that this is time that needs to be allotted to this committee, and I think that needs to be fulfilled.
Senator Mounts.
So I would prefer my speech to be the last one. That being said, I think it's important to realize that making this amendment and not against changing the idea of the treasurer and what she does. But I personally think that it is more of a flaw in this bill. And so passing this is going to create more problems in the short term than it is going to fix problems in the long term. And so I think that dealing with this and then actually getting together and trying to fix all parts, because there's just so much, I feel like there's quite a bit missing from this bill of what actually needs to change in our bylaws and how everything functions. That is why I'm doing this, is to save us from certain foreseeable problems. That way we can actually come together and finish working on this during this session. And so that is why I'm making this amendment, and that's why I'm pushing this so hard.
Senator Day, do you still have a debate?
No, I do not.
Senator Martin.
Are there other remedies for this time commitment problem? I can help with paperwork if that's what's needed. I guess that's more of a question.
That's more of a question than a debate.
Debate. Is there a way that we can prioritize this and help the treasurer with time management and other aspects?
Still a question.
I don't know
Senator
how to phrase
Khan.
it.
So mine is more of point of information. So if we, hypothetically, if we did have a chairperson for budget and finance, and we also had a treasurer in SGA. Now, considering like when I first joined SGA, we only had 2 people serving in budget and finance. If that were to be the case, hopefully never, but if that were to be the case where there is the treasurer and the chairperson only serving on that committee, how would that play out?
So technically, if you only have 2, you can't actually have a meeting due to quorum. Quorum for the budget and finance is 4, so you wouldn't be able to meet at all if you only had those 2. Anyone else wishing to speak in debate on Senator Mount's amendment? Senator Turan.
I just want to point out that, yeah, I accept it's our responsibility, but as suggested, I think we could table this simply for the fact that this could technically like restructure her position and her job and then like reallocating that time. I just think it's something that needs more consideration, and we can keep going back and forth tonight, but I just think that there needs to be like a solid, plan.
Gabe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't table a motion, but you can table the bill.
So technically, you have 2 options. So each of this entire bill, while it's all compiled into one, you can table an action of it. So you think about this. I don't know how many is it, but let's say there's 4 actions in this bill. You can table the action, so the action that causes the amendment, which, hold on, I will tell you.
In this case, it's number 4.
It's 4. So you can table action 4 for further review without having to table the entire bill. So that, or you can table the entire bill.
Simply because we've been talking about action 4, I would like to table action 4.
First have to clear this motion before we can get to that.
You still need to finish Senator Mount's amendment.
Senator Mounts.
So basically what I'm doing in this amendment is tabling said. I'm just completely removing it from the bill. So it is something that we can address at a later time, so we don't need to table this specific action because I'm completely getting it rid out of the bill, or I'm ridding it from the bill.
Getting rid of and tabling are 2 different things. It essentially does the same thing, but now you have to write a whole nother bill in order to get to it instead of coming back to it. With that, is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Senator Mounts.
Arguably, it's one line in a bill that needs a lot of work.
With that, is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate on this motion? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand and keep them high, please.
Michael, can you remind them what they're voting on?
Yes. So what we are voting on currently is Senator Mount's amendment to remove Action 4 from this bill. Anybody else require further clarity on what we are voting on? With that, all those in favor, please raise your hand and keep them high. All opposed? So did I. The amendment. Motion carries with 17 in favor, 9 opposed, beating the simple majority of 16.
For clarification, it did carry, correct?
Yes, Action 4 is stricken from this bill. With that, moving back to the main motion, which is the bill itself, is there anyone wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Mounts.
I move to amend line 138 instead of it saying diversity or the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. It says the Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee. along with that, amending line 140 to say 3.1.6.3. Do you want me to slow down?
What line was it?
The first line was line 138, 3.1.6. So basically, just replace equity with empowerment.
Next line.
Line 140-ish. So it basically, this is an entirely new section. It's section 3.1.6.3 of the bylaws. It'll be above the 3.3.11, line 140. So it actually will go right under that, or it'll go right over that, essentially, if that makes sense. Do you just want to see it on my computer?
Please. Senator Kendrick.
Is that the name of the committee? The committee? Why are we changing? Is that what the committee? That's the official name of the committee? Diversity.
The official name of that committee is the Diversity Task Force. It is in the main bill. It's being recommended to change to Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Senator Mount's amendment will be changing equity to empowerment. Correct. Senator Mounts. Right. We'll go through these ones and then get to the rest of those. With that, this motion does require a second. Thank you, Senator Khan. Senator Mounts, this is your motion. You do have the right to speak to it first.
All right, everybody. So after talking with my bosses at ODI, we came to the decision that it's better to deal more with diversity and empowerment and inclusion. The issue that comes along with equity is that the current name for it, DTF, does not really deal a lot with creating and supporting equity in our environment. We deal more with the empowerment and inclusivity and diversity at our university and the surrounding areas. And so changing this name, I think, is definitely better than having a diversity task force, and I definitely think represents more of the idea of what this committee should and does do.
You want to speak to your other two lines?
They also, if I remember correctly, replace equity with empowerment, and so it's kind of the same situation. And so those are within the actual part of the bylaws that state the purpose and intent of this committee.
So for future reference, as soon as we change the name of the committee, all other mentions of the name of the committee shall be automatically updated. So we don't need any more amendments to do that if this one should pass. Senator Babin.
Privilege, can you make the thing larger so I can read it? Thank you.
Senator Martin.
Motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Bless you. Seeing none, motion carries by unanimous consent.
Point of personal privilege, could you scroll down just a little bit? Okay, thank you.
Senator Flores, please use your mic.
Motion to amend line 138 to include commas in between diversity and empowerment and
As a grammatical change, and we can do that without a vote. Senator Gibson.
Okay, since we're kind of coming up on time again and we still have a lot to go through, I motion to extend the time of the meeting to 10:30.
Motion to extend time of adjournment has been extended to, you said what, 10:30?
Second.
It has been seconded. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. 17 in favor, beating the simple majority. For the adjournment, I don't believe so.
It is a majority vote.
Majority. Thank you, Senator Mounts. With that, is there anyone wishing to debate on this item?
For clarification, it is the bill itself, correct?
You are correct. Senator Mounts.
Happy with the changes that have been made. I will be voting in favor of this bill. Please, please, can we just vote on this and let it pass? We all want to go home.
With that, is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate at this time? Senator Martin.
Motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections?
I object. I think people should, if they want to abstain by any chance, they should have that right too.
There has been an objection, so we cannot adopt unanimously. Coming back to the debate, is anyone wishing to debate at this time? Senator Mounts.
Motion to do a roll call vote.
Will require a
Second.
Right?
Second.
When we get to the voting period, it will be by roll call. Since there was no motion to end debate, we are still in the debate period. That's Senator Martin.
Motion to end debate.
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries with 25 in favor. This officially ends the debating period, and we will be moving into the voting period. As it was previously motioned, that we will be doing this by roll call. When I say your name, please say either yes, no, in favor, against, abstain. Oop, I just lost my spot. Which one was it? 24? 25? Yes. Senator Azadlani?
Abstain.
Senator Babin?
Yes.
Senator Bradley?
Yes.
Senator Brown?
Yes.
Senator Castillo?
Yes.
Senator Coates is gone. Senator Cowden?
Yes.
Senator Cunningham?
Yes.
Senator Day?
Yes.
Senator Flores?
Yes.
Senator Gibson?
Yes.
Genta is not here. Senator Hopper?
Yes.
Senator Kata?
Yes.
Senator Kendrick?
Yes.
Senator Khan?
Yes.
Senator Mai?
Yes.
Senator Martin?
Yes.
Senator Mattson?
Yes.
Senator Miller?
Yes.
Senator Morgan is not here. Senator Mounts?
Yes.
Senator Navarro?
Abstain.
Senator Peter?
Yes.
Senator Peterson?
Yes.
Senator Reed?
Abstain.
Senator Ritchie?
No.
Senator Sanchez? It's not here. It's an abstain. Senator Spencer?
Yes.
Bless you. Senator Turan?
Abstain.
Senator Tubak?
No.
Senator Tucker?
Yes.
Senator Webb?
Yes.
Senator Wright?
Yes.
Senator Zacharias?
Yes.
SB-62-025 passes its simple majority requirement with 25 in favor, 2 against, and 9 abstentions. With that, we will move into item G. Chief Shelby,
Can we motion to table this until next week?
you may make that motion if you would
Motion to table this until next week.
Second.
like. Has been seconded, not debatable. I don't remember. Does that one require 2/3, Gabe, to table? It's a majority. So, simple majority needs at least 16 votes in order to make that count. With that, we'll move directly into the voting period. All those in favor of tabling SB-62-026, raise your hand. Thank you. All abstain? Or not abstain? Against? Thank you. With that, motion to table does pass with 25 in favor, 5 against, and 1 abstention. So we'll move into the debate on this next week. That brings us into item 9.
Point of information, are the people from Shockers for Life here? Okay.
Yes.
That answers my question. Thank you.
With that, moving into item section 9, new business. Item A, Chief shall read.
All right. SB-62-35, Grant Recognition of Shockers for Life, authored by Maggie Hull, RSO Graduate Assistant Gabriel Fonseca, Assistant Director of Student Involvement Mariah Stover, Shockers for Life Representative, and Kyle Linsner, Shockers for Life Representative.
Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
I yield my time to the representatives from Shocker for Life.
Please approach the podium.
Hi, my name is Mariah Stever. I will be the president of Shockers for Life. The goal of Shockers for Life is to cultivate a culture of life. It is a pro-life organization that we are wanting to start here on campus. We have already generated a lot of interest from students, and we are interested in creating an open dialogue about this topic and giving students the right to have their voice be heard on this campus. Thank you.
Do you wish to take questions?
I will.
Are there any questions? Senator Mounts, saw you first.
So my question is, so you're saying that you want to basically kind of like have discussions about this. So elaborate like what that entails and like how you're going to go about having said discussions.
Yes, we'll be doing a lot of tabling in the RSC. We will have displays and opportunities for students to learn more about the topic and what their options are.
Senator Batham.
What kind of events will you plan on having, or what kind of events and activities are you planning on having on campus?
We are planning to have currently a movie night where we watch a movie unplanned. We will do a lot of fundraising for the local pregnancy resource centers, and we will do a lot to help support pregnant and parenting students on campus.
Senator Mounts.
So in what specific ways are you wanting to help support expecting students on campus? Like any specific examples you have in mind right now?
Not germane. So out of order. Won't allow it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Point of information, how is that not germane?
How they intend to go about what they are saying doesn't have an effect on whether they should or should not be. Does that make sense? Senator Martin, do you still have?
How do you plan on this group going forward with, having these events? Like, what do you expect turnout to be? What do you expect end result to be in terms of your impact on campus?
Right. We did have a booth today at the in the involvement fair. We did generate a lot of interest from students. We did get a lot of people to sign up. I would say we'd have at least 50, if not more than that, students already interested in being a part of this organization and having their voices be heard.
Any other questions? Senator Khan.
So, how does this organization plan on tackling like people with opposite point of views who might be wanting to join this organization in the future?
Right, we are wanting to be a peaceful organization. Our three main pillars are service and action and prayer. But we are open to anybody joining our club. We do not discriminate against anybody joining our club. Anybody is welcome to join, and we will be open to talking and dialoguing with anybody, regardless of what their viewpoint is, and getting to a sort of common ground.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. You may have a seat. We'll move into debate on this item next week. We moved to 10:30, right? Wrong time written. With that, we move into section 10, swearing in. Yeah, no, but now we have the time. So, for all of those who were appointed tonight, if you could please come up. That way when we take the picture, people can see you. And then also, so you get the cheat sheet. If you stumble, I'll be pointing to it. Committee members? No, not committee members. Okay, ready? Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. When we get to the position part, I'll just point at you and you say what position you were just appointed to. Remember, yours is LES. Okay. Ready? I hereby swear. That I will faithfully serve. The students of Wichita State University. Act in accordance with. The Student Government Association Constitution. And fulfill all duties and responsibilities. Required of the office. Of. I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Student Government Association of Wichita State University. Congratulations, new senator. With that, we'll move into item 11, remarks and announcements. Does anyone have a remark or announcement they would like to share at this time? Senator Martin, saw you first.
Happy birthday, Lee.
Senator Ritchie.
Okay, this is kind of a long announcement, and I apologize because I know we're all staying past when we're normally here. As the Fine Arts Senator, I feel it is my responsibility to help educate the rest of the university about performance dates on campus. So if everyone will get out something to record dates, whether it be your phone or a piece of paper, I'm going to give you all of the current university ensemble performances that I'm aware of.
Post them to the Facebook group, please. You can mention them, but also post them.
Never mind. Is that cool with everybody? Facebook?
Yes.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Kendrick.
Yes, I wanted to honor Senator Cunningham. She just competed in Kansas City at the KC Superstars competition and won a $10,000 scholarship. So yes, shock her love.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Khan.
I just wanted to point out that whenever we appoint people, I think we should save the unanimous consensus, or is it consent?
Unanimous consent of the
Okay,
Senate.
I was saying it wrong before. Well, I think we should save that for like something special, like we had Lee Wang serve in Senate before, and using that for her, it shows weight to that motion. If we use it on everyone just to, get done with just get done with the meeting, I think it kind of loses its, power. It's the worth of it. So I think we should use that motion, like when appointing people, carefully. Otherwise, for bills and legislation, I think that should be fine. But just to keep in mind, it is to show kind of like respect in a way. So thank you.
Senator Mounts.
Okay, so first on that, there really is no good way or good explanation for unanimous consent. So I know some bodies like ours do try to use it as more of a condom or more of a. Basically, it's supposed to show that that person really wowed us, but for others, it's more of just oh, here's this formality we need to go through. Let's just get through this real quick. So leave that up for your own opinion. I actually kind of use it for both, depending on how I'm feeling. So the other thing, I like to commend all the people who spoke during the amendments. That was not easy. That was long, and I'm glad that you all are still here. And you guys really showed some initiative tonight, so I'm really proud of all of you, and I highly commend all of you.
Any other remarks and announcements, Senator Zacharias?
I would strongly recommend for senators to not be on their phones during Senate. We are being filmed by these cameras, and there is a live feed, and it's kind of disrespectful when we're going through stuff and everyone's just looking at their laps.
Also subject to Open Records Act. So, Senator Day.
Yeah, I would just like to qualify that a little bit by saying that personally, my computer's really short in power, so I was just looking at my phone just to be able to keep up with the agenda and whatnot. So I think it does have legitimate use. I do agree, however, it does not look good on camera. It kind of looks like you're slacking off. So in the future, I'll try to have a fully powered computer ready.
Senator Babin.
Yeah, mine's real quick. I just want to remind people that if you want to end debate, the motion is to call the previous question, not to end debate.
Senator Webb.
Going along with all of that, in the future, I think we should refrain from motioning to adopt by unanimous consent for bills and resolutions that have had a lot of debate on them, because they can be kind of contentious, and I think that kind of silences people who may disagree with it. In addition, let's remember that it's in our best interest to be courteous, civil, abide by the rules, keep decorum, and be aware of what we ask and say, and wait to be recognized before speaking. It'll avoid confusion and delay on all levels, and it's just the courteous thing to do. With that, I appreciate the amount of debate tonight. I think that it shows that we're doing our due diligence and not just passing legislation blindly, so good job, and thank you.
Student Advocate Cadillo.
Hello, all. Just another reminder to please, because as senators, you may not serve on the Supreme Court, but please, as a reminder, be pushing this to your fellow peers here at Wichita State, because once again, they are not currently meeting quorum, so we need to fill those positions as soon as possible so that they can start hearing cases. And then additionally, that goes for the other university committees as well as Senate committees too. So yeah, as student advocate, I utilize committees such as the Academic Appeals Committee as well as the Parking Appeals Committee every day. So I really need you to recommend as many people as you think would be qualified for those positions, because they're highly utilized currently and we need to be filling them as soon as possible. Second, please share the Sweet Meat with the Student Advocate event.
Any other remarks and announcements? Senator Brown.
So this is very less serious. Tomorrow is the Shock the Yard. It's the Yard show tomorrow, and I'm going to be performing. Alpha Phi Alpha will be performing, and just show out at 12:30, right? 12 o'clock. 11:30. Be there early. So.
Senator Mounts.
Reminder to turn in your senator hours tonight. They're due at 11:59.
You are correct. Thank you. Advisor Loosely.
What? So,
we have a treat for you all, because as your advisors, we appreciate all that you do, but we also understand the responsibility that you have as senators, and we want to make sure you understand that, but also can wear a badge of honor throughout the year. And so this actually came from our visit this summer to Washington, D.C. As we were going around with Representative Estes and his wife, if you didn't know, the House of Representatives, they actually get a pin that they wear that signifies them as a House of Representatives. So we are going to give you all tonight a pin, an SGA lapel pin, that we want you to wear throughout the year to signify your part of this group. And when Gabe gets back, we'll actually read what we put on it, because we really want you to understand how important it is, the weight that you're carrying in this responsibility and the position you have, but also you are part of almost like this club together. And as people see you wear this, they know that, hey, that's a member, that's my senator, that's a member of the association, and so they know they can come to you with questions, concerns, comments, feedback, any of those kind of things, that you truly are representing your student body and being part of the association. So Gabe took when he gets back, he can read and we'll give this to all new senators also sworn in throughout the year, the ones tonight.
Okay, so if you read the card, it says, of course, welcome to the 60-second session. I think this is kind of a good time for us, especially as we kind of end the first 2 weeks of school and really do begin to embark in this journey together. When we talked about this afternoon, we wanted to kind of talk about what the importance of this pin was, and not just to give you something, but to add some sort of significance to it. So the Student Government Association lapel pin symbolizes a common bond between all those who possess it, so not just the Senate, the executive, and also our Supreme Court. It symbolizes your commitment to public service. Representing students is hard, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of energy as well. And then the unique privilege and responsibility of your role. There are 15,000 students on campus, and we don't get to, not all 15,000 of them get to sit at these seats and make the decisions you all make. So we want you to remember, as you kind of look at that and kind of go through the year, of the unique privilege that you get to have to make the decisions you get to make here on campus, and the responsibility that comes with it. And we don't want you to forget that, especially, again, going through this year together, that you remember those two things, that it's a privilege to be here, and the responsibility that comes with every decision you make as well. So that is for you, Al.
With that, I'm going to steal my remarks and announcements. I want to thank all of you for not being afraid to speak your mind and participate in all of the debates. Can't really have an accurate vote if you don't actually speak up. So I want to thank you for that. I want to also thank everybody that kind of kept me on track. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and I appreciate your assistance. Are there any other remarks and announcements? We got till 10:30. We're good.
Motion to adjourn.
That is an actual motion, so now we have to go through it. It is not debatable, but all those in favor? All opposed? You can't be both. Very well. Any abstentions? Motion carries, receiving the 2/3 required. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit it that loud. Sorry about that. Yes. So we're supposed to start at 6 and we end at 9:30. Those are the two set times, and then you have to change one or the other. You can't have, so you can do the start, but you have to say to move. I can't move that. That might be something you do a piece for, hey, since we are